Hi, fellow teachers. I would like to talk about language coaching and my own experiences with it, and especially 4 simple points that I'd like to share that I've discovered in my practice. I would have liked to think more about before I started. The first one is roles. It's really important to be clear when you start a language coaching session that you have a particular role, and that role is different from your teacher role. We may be used to in the classroom to be a little more in control of where something is going within a short timeline, such as, for example, a half an hour exercise of some kind. Your role changes here, and that's very important. Your focus is now a single individual student and their exploration of their own issues. So a focus on the role change before you sit down with the student is important. Second one, very related, is structure and openness. I say and, but it might be versus openness. Some coachees might feel that this is quite an open form, but it has to be. It has to be, and if they feel uncomfortable with that, it's because they're not used to exploring, but it's at the heart of this method. So, in order for that sort of sense of openness not to be too challenging for a student, for a learner, it might be a good idea to have a really solid structure in yourself. Not to send any signals that you are a little uncertain as well. So having that clear structure about the phases of language coaching can help you do that. You're confident, you know what the phases are, you know what the bridges are going to be between one and the other, and that will allow you, and that I suppose might sound like a contradiction in terms, but that very solid structure in yourself will help you be open towards the student and what they want to explore, so that the conversation can be like the equivalent of a hike in the mountains. It's a landscape. You don't know what's going to come next. So structure versus openness. Third point is power. This, in my teaching context, is really important. I assess my students. I am in the classroom and am frequently giving them feedback on whether or not something has to be adjusted or not. In this session, it's important they don't feel that they're being assessed. They have to be good at it. I don't mean by grade, but they have to do well because the teacher's sitting here. I'm the teacher and the coach at the same time. Acknowledge the power in the room. Say something about it at the beginning of the session to make sure that they understand what kind of space this is. And finally, trust. This is at the very heart of language coaching. Again, I would say something about it at the beginning. Chatham House rules, nothing leaves this room. You can say what you would like and describe perhaps vulnerable parts of your educational background. We're talking about learner biography, and there are very frequently sensitive points. My experience is that very often those sensitive points come out without being planned, and that means that safe space has to be established before that. That was it for me.